And now, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Church with a 2-Drink Minimum.
All right. Everybody ready? We're going to sing. Hey, Lena.
Doggies, you gotta get that in there.
A wee doggies and an A human.
You got your drinks, A human.
Hope you have your sorrel tea ready.
Welcome to the lovely, the pre-recorded edition of Church with a 2-Drink Minimum.
Right, this weekend we are in Vermont, and we're celebrating Founders Day.
I know, our Founders Day.
1 year ago on May 1st. We got our land. We saw our land for the very first time.
And signed the paperwork. Remember COVID last year?
Yeah.
On May 1st?
Yeah.
It was the most odd thing you've ever seen. Two people across a distance of with a car hood in the middle. Our car hood was in the middle. And
right.
The lawyers were on one side, we were on the other side,
right.
And we would go to the car hood and sign the thing and everything like that, and then go out, and then they would come up and do the thing, and we did it all outside in the lawyer's parking lot.
That's right, we certainly did. I forgot about that. Then we got in our car and we drove for like 30 miles, I think it was. It
was our first time to the property,
right? And we were where is this place?
So,
we'd never seen it. We bought.
It's like going to your let's say your mom was remarried, and you're going to find her new house.
Yeah.
You're gonna like it. It's gonna look somewhat familiar because you've seen so many pictures of her and her house or her new husband and everything like that. But it doesn't do anything like arriving there, does it?
Amazing. It was amazing to see our place for the first time, and so it opened up a whole new world of possibilities. And we just feel. And we know, actually, that it's more than a feeling, that we are so blessed to have this property.
Yeah, there's something that happens to you when you know what is yours to do.
Yeah. So that's where we are. We're
happy Founders Day.
We're on our land today, and we're doing ritual and walking our land and just celebrating Mother Nature, the goddess that is.
And the beginning of our second summer, we got some new plans. So for the land and the house. So we're really be happy for us. And we did not want to leave you.
No.
One of our favorite communities from this celebration.
Oh, I know. So celebrate with us.
Yeah, so know that we have taken you with us. We've gathered everybody up here, loaded them in the back of our Jeep Cherokee, and we've taken you to Vermont, and we've unloaded and fed you with really, really good food.
Yay! Okay? That's great. Well, in honor of Founders Day. Let's sing our sing-along.
Oh, I know. This is really good for the lesson today, too. Pay attention to the words. You know the words yet?
Let things be.
Let things be.
Exactly as they are.
Exactly as they are.
You can't change me.
You can't change me.
And you can't change God.
'Cause you can't change God.
So let things be.
Let things be.
Exactly as they are.
Exactly as they are.
And you and me.
And you and me
will live in peace.
We live in peace.
Well, I don't know what anything is for. Unless I listen to that still small voice.
I have a still small voice
telling me,
it's telling me
this simple truth, that everything is for my good. So let things be.
I let things be
exactly as they are. You can't change me.
You can't change me.
You can't change God.
'Cause you can't change God.
So let things be.
I let things be
exactly as they are. You and me.
So you and me
will live in peace.
We can live in peace.
I'm not this body.
I'm not this body
that you see. Although it is voluptuous.
It is voluptuous and beautiful.
I am as God. Created me.
God created me.
And we are all one family. And it's possible.
Yes, it's possible
to live in peace.
It's possible to live in peace.
So let things be.
Hey, let things be
exactly as they are. You can't change me.
You can't change me.
And you can't change
'Cause you can't change God.
So let things be.
I let things be
exactly as they are. You and me.
And you and me
will live in peace.
We live in peace. Kumbaya.
Yay! Let's have another A human.
A human. That is how, if we let, there's healing avail. I mean, there's a reason why the Course says this so often, let things be exactly as they are, and why we sing, why we use it as our theme song. It's because the Course offers us the idea that if we're able to see the world as it is, which means first, what do? Stop messing with it. Right?
What do you mean by stop
let it alone
first?
first?
Leave it alone.
Let it alone first, so
Let
you
things
can
be.
do your evaluation. Right? You're supposed to have we carry this divine intelligence and divine knowledge within us, not only about who we are, but where we function in the world, what is ours to do, but the innate knowledge of our wholeness and our oneness and our power.
Yes.
And we often reject a lot of that because it looks really scary
to have power.
To step out into our authenticity and claim our power.
And remember, this is something that we've been talking about a little while now, is that the power that we're speaking of is not of the world.
It's not power over.
It is power with. So again, we acknowledge that to have all, give all, to all that's the power. And we're actually seeing that power show itself when people come together and decide that changes need to be made, and those changes occur. We're seeing that structural change. We're seeing that here in New York City with some new laws that are going into effect that send healthcare workers to emergency situations, nonviolent emergency situations, rather than police officers, and I think that's a good change.
Yeah. I always think that a gun is rarely the solution. Controversial, I know, but so if we get involved, if we do what is ours to do, this doesn't happen all by itself. It happens. The world's institutions reflect our beliefs about God. Okay? Do we realize that we build institutions and we have relationships based on acting out the belief of who we think we are,
Right.
and who we think our relationships are supposed to be about. You know? So it's like, am I for you? Am I against you? Are you with me? Are we doing this together? Are you in opposition to me? Probably we've met all of those people.
Yeah.
Right? And we've been all of those people.
Right. I was going to say, like, there's that in me also. So
how do, if this collective action brings about the results that we want, you know, calling and being vocal and you know, making sure that, you know, what you want is heard and known, as we do together. And if those things changes, how do we manage difficult people?
Right. Which is what you're going to talk about today.
I know. Teaser.
Monsters. We create
monsters, ghosts, and dragons. The subject today is monsters, ghosts, and dragons.
Interesting. But before we get to that, bling, 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 bling,
no,
bling.
and if you're going to talk about monsters, it's probably good to get your mind straight first.
Exactly.
So let's do that.
So let's look at the lessons. We want to look at Saturday and Sunday's lessons.
Oh, I know. We're an important part of the Course of Miracles, y'all.
I know. And so this is so cool. Both of these lessons for Saturday and for Sunday really reflect there we go. That's Saturday. Okay. So really reflect what how to get our minds right as we address situations that we do not like.
Well, I know if we're able to let things be as they are, how do we
are.
do this evaluation about what is ours to do if we're going to stop and do some evaluation before we take action?
And I actually have a song that I wrote.
What are the odds? I ask you.
So I'm gonna play that. It reflects this particular lesson right now, which is Saturday's lesson.
121.
Lesson 121. Forgiveness is the key to happiness. And it says, here is the answer to your search for peace. Here is the key to meaning in a world that seems to make no sense. Here is the way to safety in apparent dangers that appear to threaten you at every turn and bring uncertainty to all your hopes of ever finding quietness and peace. Here are all questions answered. Here, the end of all uncertainty is ensured.
What a
at
promise.
last.
What a promise.
I know, it's incredible.
It's the key.
The key to happiness.
The key. Mm-hmm. So she's making happiness out on the other side of a door. Forgiveness is the door. And this key.
Forgiveness is the key.
Is the key. Oh, I'm sorry.
That opens the door.
That opens the door
to happiness.
And so what's the door is the block to the our block to the awareness of love's presence.
So that's Saturday's lesson, and then today's lesson, Sunday, is lesson 122. Forgiveness offers everything I want.
That's really, really the crux of it. Does it? Does it really?
Wow. What could you want forgiveness cannot give? Do you want peace? Forgiveness offers it. Do you want happiness? A quiet mind? A certainty of purpose? And a sense of worth and beauty that transcends the world.
Oh my gosh.
I do. Do you want care and safety and the warmth of sure protection always? Do you want a quietness that cannot be disturbed? A gentleness that can never be hurt? A deep, abiding comfort and a rest so perfect it can never be upset.
Alrighty. Let's go for that perfect rest.
Let's
go for the happiness of a quiet mind, a certain purpose, and a sense of worth and beauty that transcend the world. Let's go for that.
Let's do. So let's take 3 breaths. I'm going to ring the bell 3 times and take 3 cleansing breaths. On the last breath, release with an Om. We'll do our circle of love meditation. And then I'll share my song, Hari Om Tat Sat, Forgiveness is the Key to Happiness. So here we go. right here, right now, in this gathering, you and I, are co-creating a circle of love. And we cannot help but co-create the circle of love because we are made of love. We are made of unconditional love. God is love. Therefore, we are love. We accept this circle of unconditional love that we co-create not only within this group, but with every being on the planet, every living being. So we allow the joy, the feeling of joy, to bubble up inside of us, and the vibration of that happiness and joy to spill out into the rooms that we are occupying, and into the presence of those that we are with, and into our buildings, our homes, our streets, our cities, our states, our country, and our world. We are a vital part of the healing of this planet and the healing of human consciousness. And we have to look at what we don't like in order to see how to heal it. We invite all that we like and all that we don't like into this circle of healing unconditional love, so that we can know that forgiveness is the key to happiness. In this circle of love, we acknowledge and we declare that we inhabit lands that once belonged to our Native American ancestors. And in New York, those ancestors of ours are called the Lenape. And in Vermont, those ancestors of ours are called the Abenaki. In this circle of love, we know, we declare, and we acknowledge that Black lives matter and Black trans lives matter. And we know and we acknowledge that human consciousness is shifting. And we know and we acknowledge Hari Om Tat Sat. Hari Om Tat Sat. Forgiveness is the key to happiness. Blessed be, and so it is.
Hare Om Tat Sat. Hare Om Tat Sat. Hare Om Tat Sat. Forgiveness is the key to happiness. Hare Om Tat Sat. Hare Om Tat Sat. Hare Om Tat Sat. Forgiveness is the key to love. Hare Om Tat Sat. Hare Om Tat Sat. Hare Om Tat Sat. Forgiveness is the key to happiness. Hare Om Tat Sat. Hare Om Tat Sat. Hare Om Tat Sat. Forgiveness is the key to love. Here is your answer to your search for peace. Here is the meaning in a world that makes no sense. Here is your way to safety when danger appears. Here are all your questions answered. Hare Om Tat Sat. Hare Om Tat Sat. Hare Om Tat Sat. Forgiveness is the key to happiness. Hare Om Tat Sat. Hare Om Tat Sat. Hare Om Tat Sat. Forgiveness is the key to love. The way of peace is the way of love. Love is the greatest power on earth. It transforms all things. It transforms all things. The way of peace is the way of love. Love is the greatest power on earth. It transforms all things. It transforms all things. The way of peace is the way of love. Transforms all things. Hare Om Tat Sat. Hare Om Tat Sat. Hare Om Tat Sat. Forgiveness is the key to happiness. Hare Om Tat Sat. Hare Om Tat Sat. Hare Om Tat Sat. Forgiveness is the key to love. Hare Om Tat Sat. Hare Om Tat Sat. Hare Om Tat Sat. Forgiveness is the key to love. Hare Om Tat Sat. Hare Om Tat Sat. Hare Om Tat Sat. Forgiveness is the key to love. Hare Om Tat Sat. Hare Om Tat Sat. Hare Om Tat Sat. Forgiveness is the key to love. Hare Om Tat Sat. Hare Om Tat Sat. Hare Om Tat Sat. Forgiveness is the key to love.
Yay.
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
Well, I actually premiered this video a couple of weeks
that.
ago here on this show because not only do I reference forgiveness is the key to happiness in this song, but I also reference Peace Pilgrim, which is a favorite of Regina's and also mine. And so it also has the mantra in it, Hare Om Tat Sat. So let me give you just a little moment about what Hare Om Tat Sat means. Om Tat Sat itself can be translated as the supreme reality or absolute truth, or all that is. Blessed be, and so it is. All that is. So when chanted alone, Om Tat Sat refers to absolute and unmanifested reality. However, when chanted with Hare Om Tat Sat is used to awaken practitioners to the true or higher self beyond the physical body.
The truth that's contained within us.
So Hare itself sort of calls to God or the sacred mystery, which I like to refer to, and it awakens that energy in our bodies, in our physical bodies. So I love that. So the combination of chanting Hare Om Tat Sat and forgiveness is the key to happiness, and referencing the way of peace is the way of love, like, is a really powerhouse kind of meditation for us today.
Well, the way of talking about what's real.
Yeah.
Especially the way the Course talks about what's real.
Yeah.
I mean, in the Course in Miracles cosmology, real is, and this is where it kind of moves away from a lot of descriptions in other systems. It's what doesn't change.
Right.
So what is real doesn't change.
Unlike that in physical form,
Right.
which does change. It arises and falls. Yeah. So, yeah.
And so if what doesn't change is the truth, then the forgiveness is is being able to see reality for what it is, see its unchanging nature.
Right. Yeah.
You can see the unchanging nature underneath, or the unchanging nature about what is producing the person, the hummingbird, the cricket, or the maple tree, or whatever, the underlying inner truth of that. The inner oneness of that. So
the practice is to be able to see past the behavior of the individual and to see too the supreme reality of the individual. It's
easier said than done.
That's why we have all these practices. That's why we do courses and retreats and practices, and
So I had fun with this. Think about, I've got 2 images for you. We're on chapter 11, section 9, and if you do the math, that's 16, 17 times 12.8. We're like week 17, week 16, week 17 right now. So I'll leave you with that math. Leave you with that math problem.
Thank you so much.
So this is chapter 11. Chapter 11 is called "The God of the Ego," and this is where we are. This is about working relationships. Chapter 11 is about how we work with others to build a community, or not to necessarily at this point to build a community, but it's to your crew, right? Your folks that your mighty companions, who you're going to go on this journey with.
Sure.
Well, every journey has a villain.
Ooh.
Every her journey has an opposition. It doesn't really, but the way that it's told in like physical form and things like that, you have an opposition. Mm-hmm. And the opposition, and of course, miracles is our own ignorance.
Yeah.
Right. That's but in the world, the cosmology, and the way we talk about it in English in the Western world, we have people that are problematic. And situations and stuff that are problematic.
And we make monsters out of those.
So this is what we're gonna talk about. She says God and the ego. Right. And section 9 is the problem or the answer.
The problem and the answer.
Or problem and the answer.
That's
right?
Great.
It's God or the ego, but it's the problem and the answer.
Because you can't pick up the problem without the answer being
right.
there.
Because we're in this is the dualistic. He's trying to solve a dualistic problem. Mm-hmm. There's no non-dual problems.
Right. If everything is
right. And she says this a little bit later in the thing. So why don't you read this little So I'm going to give you 2 images to think about.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. What's the first
one? Is do you remember those children's Bibles that had pictures of like the Garden of Eden?
Yeah.
And they always had all the animals together, right? They had you've got all the predators and all the prey living together, right? You've got little wolves and bunnies and tigers and goats and and lions and fawns and you have all the zebra and the all the predators and the prey in one photograph, and everybody's lying down together, and they're all friends. They all get beers together or something. I don't know.
The lions with the lamb.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that's this idea of laying down with your enemy, no longer being afraid, no longer or like you giving up your predator side. It's like what would it take to live with your enemy? Your natural enemy, the somebody who wants to eat you.
Okay. I don't quite understand what you're meaning by that.
Well, we're gonna these images. I just want to give you the image of all these animals, like
together.
Yeah, cats and dogs living together.
Okay.
Right. Okay.
Cats, dogs, lions, lambs. Okay, got it.
The second image is a collection of old school horror movie monsters.
Yeah.
Right? So you've got the Phantom of the Opera, and you've got the
Bela Lugosi's
you've got the Invisible
Dracula.
Man. You've got the swamp creature, Frankenstein, of course.
Bride of Frankenstein.
Oh yeah, the Mummy and the werewolf, Dracula, and Frankenstein. So those are that's the classic. So we actually are entertained by monsters.
That's true.
We actually do have a weird sort of love-hate relationship with monsters.
Well, as a kid, I used to have all of these plastic models, like you could buy, like models and glue them together. And I had all of these particular models, like the Dracula and the Frankenstein and the werewolf and the mummy and Swamp Thing and all this. And I had them all over my house, in my room, along with the Barbie dolls that I had. So it was like monsters and
Barbies
and Barbies, together.
I love non-binary
dancing.
Okay, so those are the two images. Okay, so this is chapter 11 is a pretty big chapter.
It is.
And she doesn't disappoint on how
verbose
she is in chapter 9 either. It's called The Problem and the Answer, but she has good reason for this. She's going to tell a nice long metaphor in the middle of it. But let's begin, because she, as usual, the first paragraph is where she has some good information where she's trying to get us to go. Because if you remember, she states the problem, then she says why you won't do it, and then she states the lesson again. So what she wants us to understand is usually in the first paragraph, or maybe the first couple of paragraphs. So read what I've highlighted here for you.
Yeah. Okay. So this is what we've highlighted, and it starts like this. This is a very simple course.
After all I just told you,
dun, 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 dun.
and she says this is a very
With
simple
all
course.
of her verboseness and everything else.
Yeah.
This is a very simple course. It teaches that only reality is true. Heaven and earth become one. The end of the world is not its destruction, but rather its translation into heaven. The reinterpretation of the world is the transfer of all perception to knowledge.
There we go.
Yeah.
The problem is we don't believe that reality is true. She lays out the problem. Reality is all around us, and we're like stubbing our feet on it and bumping up against it. We don't even see it. And the Course teaches us that reality isn't frightening and all these things, and so it teaches that only reality is true. And we talked about last week is please develop a desire for knowledge.
Yeah.
And please develop a desire to do what is curiosity, right? So she says, heaven, when this idea of truth comes upon us, it's the realization that heaven and earth have become one. Okay, and then she says something. Goes and then she tells us about the apocalypse. Isn't she? The end of the world.
Oh, the end of the world.
The end of the world.
The end of the world is not its destruction, but its translation into heaven.
Right,
yeah,
but whose world is ending? Our ignorance.
Oh, our ignorance. Yeah. Our misperception.
Our misperception. The world we're leaving.
Right.
In order to be in the real world. So the reality is that heaven and earth are one. And it's because our opinions about everything kind of drop away. We kind of loosen our opinion, the way things have got to be. We let things be more like they are than we usually do.
Oh, good. Yeah.
And so when we loosen our opinions, then we see a swift translation into knowledge. If you're willing to listen a little bit, the Holy Spirit will swiftly swoop in and give you some knowledge. Slip some knowledge to you, okay? So this feeling we have when we're moving out of the world that did not work into the real world, a lot of our identity is still in this old world that doesn't work. We're still in this identity of our previous life. We are living ourselves as the product of our own childhood.
Yeah.
We're living as a person in this language group, or in this gender group, or in this political group, or we're moving. Those are worlds in and of themselves, and we move out of this restrictive, small, little, limiting worldview. It does feel like the world is ending because a lot of our identities are dropping away because our opinions aren't being held so closely, maybe vigilant. So she puts the idea that we're able to see through something. We're able to see past something. It's almost as if we've lost the distance between another person and ourselves, or the real world. We aren't so separate from it. The real world isn't happening out there somewhere.
Right.
It's right here. It's intimate. So that we lose a distance. This new world, this reality, is without that kind of distance, that kind of separation feeling. So what's the next piece?
Okay. Do not make the mistake of believing that you understand what you perceive, for its meaning is lost to you.
Remember the problem? The problem is we don't believe that reality is true. Okay.
Right. And you do not know the meaning of anything you perceive. That's an early lesson. I don't
know what anything is for.
Know what anything is for. You do not know the meaning of anything you perceive. Instruction in perception is your great need, for you understand nothing. Understanding is your inheritance. So question everything you learned of yourself. Ask yourself, therefore, one simple question. And I love this so much.
We've been working with this
for a few days now. Oh my God. Ask yourself, therefore, this one simple question. Do I want the problem, or do I want the answer? Do I want the problem, or do I want the answer? And be honest. Yeah. Decide for the answer, and you will have it, for you will see it as it is.
There you go.
And then it is yours already.
It's yours already. Reality is already ours.
Right.
That's what she says. Reality is already ours. We've rejected reality. We want some other version that behaves in a different way.
Right.
You know, for whatever reason. Do I want the problem, or do I want the answer?
Right.
And if you want the answer, you'll have to ask for something different than you learned yourself. Right. She's saying, you don't know why because you're this is the idea, and we've said this before, and it's a concept I'm sure you're familiar with. Become as little children. Right. This is the beginner's mind. This is the willingness to give up meaning making.
Right.
Okay. Give up the meaning. Give up the job of meaning making. It is beyond your pay grade. Okay. We don't do it well. We don't do judgment well.
Yeah.
We don't do perception well. We don't do meaning well. Give up those things because we're just not good at it. We're never going to be good at it. So bring everything to the guide. Bring all our opinions, what's going on, all the upsets, bring it to the guide. Bring it to your Holy Spirit. Bring it to the voice that likes you.
Yeah.
Bring it to your true nature, our true nature, the oneness. And she says, if you'll do that, you're guaranteed to understand. If you let go first, let go of the meaning and having to have it your way first, ask what is yours to do about it. Like, I want the answer. I don't want to participate in the problem anymore. I want the answer. Then she says, if you'll do that, then you'll understand. You will reach the understanding that you seek. You will actually, the knowledge will become something that we possess. To see the world as it is. Isn't that? She's promising that if you could see the world as it is, you wouldn't be so upset. So the problem is our flawed perception. Where we make we are poor decision makers in that regard. When we're alone, when we're in the separation, when I say our perception is good and all that, it's this hegemony of I'm separate from you, you're separate from me. We have to do it all by ourselves. And we can slip into it very easy because there's so much support for it in the world. The solution is to put just a little bit of space between the thing and our actions.
Yeah.
Enough space to ask, is this really, does this participate in, I want the answer to this upset. Is my understanding contributing to this? Maybe not.
Right. Yeah.
Obviously I'm upset, so I obviously don't understand. Right. So the solution, she says, just put a little bit of space between you're upset or you're not getting your way. Just put a little bit of space there and say, how do I be a part of the solution and not a part of the problem?
Oh my God, I love that advice, if you want to say that. Put some space.
Because there's understanding there for you. can understand it. This isn't beyond you. If you're upset, you don't understand. You're asking for understanding. You're not asking for somebody's head to get lopped off. You're asking to understand what to do. You want to know what to do, how to act, what to think, and what's going on. You want to be able to experience what is actually happening. Reality. heaven on earth,
Right.
one with your brother. That's what
Right.
satisfies.
Woo.
So,
It's resonating with me. Woo. Okay, so the next part is
I know.
the Holy Spirit will answer every specific problem as long as you believe that problems are specific.
yeah, we learned that on Wednesday, didn't we? Everybody said, "What are you
Yeah.
doing this thing?" Everybody went around and everybody had
Yeah,
a version
had a
of,
specific
yeah,
problem.
well, yeah, oh yeah, well,
what about
what
this
about
one?
this? What about this? What about this? You know?
I've begun to put a little space between problems being specific and just this, knowledge that we are not separate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, we'll talk about this
Well,
later.
okay, but anyway,
go
the
ahead.
next piece of the lesson goes like this. God gives, he does not take. When you refuse to ask, it is because you believe that asking is taking rather than sharing.
Okay.
The Holy Spirit will give you only what is yours. And yours is everything. And you share it with God. You believe, though, that to ask for guidance of the Holy Spirit is to ask for deprivation. Isn't
It's
that
true.
wild?
So you can't do God's will, you'll
Yeah.
lose.
Yeah.
You certainly won't be cool anymore.
You believe in a world that takes. You have lost sight of the real world. Nothing of God will enslave. God's answer is the release from fear.
Okay, so this is fear is the belief in sacrifice.
Right.
It's the belief that giving is losing.
Right.
So that's really what it's about. What it's there to tell you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I believe in sacrifice. I believe that loss is going to be, not having. It's that material existence has the ability to inhabit meaning and give me the experience of happiness reliably.
Mm.
And we know that's not true. We keep doubling down on it, though.
Wow.
The truth is, God doesn't enslave us.
All right.
God isn't interested in restricting us. God isn't doing this. Buckle down. Do less. Restrict. Don't. Can't.
Yeah.
That's not how God works. That's how we experience the meme about what it is to be a good person in the world. It means you have to act in a
certain way.
There's a
Yeah.
performance of virtue. There's a performance of goodness that is used as a place as a substitute for it, but there is no substitute for it.
For what? Love?
Our own authenticity in the world.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah.
But we think that we can't be authentic. We should restrict ourselves, limit ourselves, be smaller.
Right. Being small never served anyone.
Enslave somebody, go into prison,
Yeah.
not be yourself.
Enslave ourselves.
I know.
Yeah.
We slave ourselves to make other people happy so they don't kill us.
Right.
Right. So, what's the next piece?
The kingdom of God is within you.
That's a complete sentence.
It is. The kingdom of heaven, the kingdom of heaven is within you. God's sons have nothing they do not share. Do not then be deceived in your brother and see only his loving thoughts as his reality. For by denying that his mind is split, you will heal yours. The help of God goes with you everywhere. As you become willing to accept this help by asking for it, you will give it because you want it. Nothing will be beyond your healing power. Thank you. Because nothing will be denied from your simple request.
Think about the promises she's making, y'all. Go on.
Do not accept your brother's variable perception of himself, for his split mind is yours, and you will not accept your healing without his. Brother, we heal together as we live together and love together. If you perceive offense in a brother, pluck the offense from your own mind, for you are offended by Christ and are deceived in this matter.
Right.
You know? Pluck the offense from your own mind.
Okay, this comes. You know this. She's making reference, of course, to the. Have you considered taking the speck out of your own eye before you go online?
Take the log out of your own eye.
That's
the Bible quote.
Oh no, there you go. Can you take the log out of your own eye before you go
see
to
a speck in your brother?
You think they didn't have Twitter in that time, but maybe they did. So she says, you got a split mind. We do, because we think we can exist in both places, and that our awful hegemonic, ignorant, acquiring, manipulative selves is sometimes an option. It sometimes works. You have to rely on deception sometimes. I didn't make the world.
Yeah. Right.
That's a split mind. But you know what works and you know what doesn't work, and yet you go, I don't really, maybe, right? And she says, I know you've got a split mind, but if you'll ask, if you do this, stop and put some space in it and ask, what you'll find out is that help is there for you. It comes out, and help is there, and we become willing. The more help we get, the more times we experience this, the more time we pause and ask. We get better at it, right? And we experience more of this reality. And she says, if you'll do this, you'll have unlimited healing power. Unless you don't want unlimited healing power, sounds great to me. And nothing will be denied your simple request.
Right.
Okay, we do have simple requests. We have simple requests. We want enough food and oxygen and we want connection. We get so mad because it's this should be easy. It's not fair that blah blah blah. Something so simple isn't so easy to experience. We get mad because we know it's injustice. We know that it doesn't have to be this way. Right. We know those are ideas. Those are the monsters. Right. Okay. Healing our split mind is this belief in separation. Right, that I've got a battle of physical world in order to be happy. As we see,
healing the belief in separation. Right.
So as we see others, it's really a measure of the depth of our belief in separation. The acceptance of others is the way we heal ourselves. Take that in. Accepting others is the way that we heal ourselves.
Oh, gosh.
Isn't that what we really want? Can you offer acceptance if we want to experience acceptance?
Right.
Can we offer oneness if we want to experience oneness? Can we offer wholeness and healing and a three-dimensional version of God in reality, or if we want to experience that? Help is here. She says, help is here. If you ask, help is here. Just ask. Nothing's beyond what you can accomplish. We're always healing together. And it's this forgive, overlook, look beyond quickly. Do you see this the theme here? And I want to say one more time. Brother, we heal together. And as we live together and love together. As we heal together, as we love together and live together. We could. These are instructions. So here's the big old long metaphor, and then we're going to be finished here.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're thinking about, you got those two images in your head. You got the Garden of Eden, all the animals
together,
because that lion is going, man, that duck is looking really good, or not,
or yes, or not, and okay, so here we go. Children perceive frightening ghosts and monsters and dragons. You, my child, are afraid of your brothers and of your father and of yourself. But you are merely deceived in them. For fear lies not in reality, but in the minds of children who do not understand reality. You do not know what they are, and so you perceive them as ghosts and monsters and dragons. You need reality to dispel your fears. Would you not exchange your fears for truth if the exchange is yours for the asking?
Yeah. What if you could
I
get what you
do
asked?
that. Yeah, no, I want that. I want to exchange my fears for truth.
Right, because what's the fear? What did we say what fear was?
I don't know what you're referring to, actually.
No, the definition of fear I just gave. Remember what that is?
No, I didn't.
The belief that a material object, losing or gaining, or the condition of a material object, innately contains the ability to give you a consistent experience of happiness.
Okay, can you shorten that and make that a little less wordy? Miss Helen.
The choice for a material existence over a existence in reality. The choice to be a thing.
Oh, I see. Yeah, to think that you're only this.
Just a thing. That's frightening.
Yeah, it is. It is. It is.
It's very, very limited.
Right. Because
when what we're trying to do when we say someone's a monster, someone's a dragon, what we're really trying to do is turn them into just a material thing, and which we can control with other material things. Right. We don't want them to have motivation or moms or dads or loves or likes or anything like that. The more listening is communication, or communication is healing. So the more we find out about our monsters and our ghosts and our dragons, the less likely that we could really hate them so much. Right? To deal with the ghosts and the monsters and the dragons in our lives, what it means is that we've come directly up against our own fear. We've come directly up against our unreliable decision maker. Ask your guide how to manage your ghost or your monster or your dragon. This guide will lead you away from fear toward the truth. The truth is we're one, and it won't be frightening. Ghosts, monsters, and dragons are the unhealed parts of ourselves. She says, you're a child. You don't understand how this thing works. Right. You think the monsters are out there. They're not. They're manifestations of and it's internal. Your opinions that's the monster. It's the thoughts that are the monster, not the person. Right. So we begin to see, the monsters is I'm creating and projecting the monster on top of this person. Yeah. And if you can see reality, it's not going to be frightening. Right. And if you can understand this concept of this ghosts, monsters, and dragons, and being able to pause and be able to ask, you actually get to prove reality is true. Because that's where we started, right? You want to prove that reality is true. This course is very simple, because it proves that only reality is true. Right. So she comes in the last paragraph, she says, seeing reality isn't frightening. Right. Because if it is, and you insist on all of that and double down on material existence, you're calling God and your own inner life a lie. Peace is not a lie. Happiness is not a lie. Joy is not a lie either.
I accept.
So, we can choose reality over our ghosts, monsters, and dragons, and it'll be about seeing the monstrous thoughts of separation, or the ghosts or the dragons, the things that separate us from our brothers within ourselves. Yeah. And here's your weekly reminder that you are at church with a 2-drink minimum. And I'm your favorite anarchist preacher, the Reverend Glenn Morton Ganaway.
Hey, human!
Hey, human!
And I'm Reverend Yolanda, and I have a song to share.
What are the odds?
Well, I think it goes so well with what we were just talking about. And I'm premiering this video for you right here and right now. It's from my latest CD called Yolanda Nanda. This is the chant Rake Rakanahar, which is a prayer for protection. Yeah, it is. It's a prayer of protection. And when I was researching this, it actually said it was one of the most powerful prayers of protection that there are. And in that situation, it said that a lot of folks, when they sing this song, sing it in a lovely sort of little sweet melody, but actually this powerful mantra is the effect is like a steel sword used by the fiercest warrior you can imagine. And so this combination of sweet and fierce actually protects our innocence.
Sweet and fierce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sweet and fierce. How about that? So I made a sweet and fierce video for you. And for this very reason, I chose the genre of rock and roll for my version of Rockin' a Heart. Here we go.
A prayer of protection. The light surrounds you. The love enfolds you. The power protects you. And the presence watches over you. Wherever you are, and all is well. Rockin', rockin' a heart. Rockin', rockin' a heart. Rockin', rockin' a heart. Apubariana, gonna keep it paye. Conscious of Ariano, up a day alla. Amano Navisariana, Sarajanaya Kesuna, above the Galatariana, Sakakanentika Dushta Kimea Dariana, Tisa Hiba Kiteka, Nana Kamana Maya, Jesus Marata Suka Hoy, Saga Duka Jai. Rockin', rockin' a heart. Rockin', rockin' a heart. I am an expression of sacred mystery, living in and through me as divinity, showing the path of light that is ever unfolding, and all the love I need is in the journeying. When I feel the weariness, I seek good company. I feel the love of dear friends and release anxiety. Then I remember who I am, and I become the wind. Rockin', rockin' a heart. Rockin', rockin' a heart. When I feel the weariness, I seek good company. I feel the love of dear friends and release anxiety. Then I remember who I am, and I become the wind. Rockin', rockin' a heart. Rockin', rockin' a heart. Rockin', rockin' a heart.
Rockin', rockin' a Sweet and fierce.
Happy Sunday. May it be
Sweet and
sweet
fierce.
and fierce.
All right.
All right.
We'll see you next time.
We love you. Stay tuned for...
Reverend Jacqueline, something genuine.
You bet.
Love you. Mwah.
A prayer of protection. The light surrounds you. The love enfolds you. The power protects you. And the presence watches over you. Wherever you are, and all is